Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And it's been raining cats and dogs. And I mean cats and dogs. And I'm not in a good mood. And the rain hasn't helped. And that is something I think is noteworthy because nobody's enjoying these rains anymore. Remember, these rains are something we love the most. In the subcontinent, we have a history of absolutely loving this season. To us, this is the best season. The monsoon season is like the best season. It has been romanticized in so many ways, in literature, in movies, in I don't know, everywhere, in real life. This is because, as I said, to us rains are always welcome. It's as if finally everything's opened up, all the dust settles down, everything is lush and green, But now, if you look at anybody, you won't see a smile actually. Now, when we look at the rains and when the rains start, we're like, oh, okay. We're not happy. And it's for the obvious reasons. Why? Because our fellow people are still stranded in the flood. Stranded in the sense that, first of all, as you know, both India and Pakistan, especially both Punjabs of India and Pakistan, have suffered the most. And not the most, actually, I wouldn't say that. That wouldn't be fair to say, but the most in the sense, I'll tell you why, is because the flood is still there. The rivers are still overflowing. It's still raining. It's still adding to it. India is still opening its floodgates, so it's still reflooding its Punjab and our Punjab. You understand the situation here? So basically, everything is out of control. People, as you know, are not being helped by the governments. Our governments had money and supplies and aid to give to Afghanistan, which nobody is against. We understand. But just look at the irony here. Both India and Pakistan's governments have just given aid to Afghanistan. They just went through a huge earthquake. But before the earthquake, we have been drowning in floods. Nobody came to our aid. Our own governments did not come to our aid, our federal governments. And in Pakistan's case, it's also our provincial government, because our provincial government is our federal government as well, unfortunately for us. So these people, who do you think, whose money or whose supplies or whose aid do you think they are sending forward to Afghanistan? It's ours. You understand? It's ours. And yet their priority was give the aid to Afghanistan, but screw your own people. Let them drown and die in the floods. Thousands of people now. Thousands have died. They've lost their lives. Villages, as we know, thousands and thousands of villages, they are submerged. Punjab, on both sides, both Punjabs are basically the kitchen of our countries. Punjab feeds the whole of Pakistan and exports things abroad. It is Punjab that also provides food for countries that need aid. The same as in India. Now, both these Punjabs are helping themselves and helping each other. Yes. I heard it from a Punjabi podcaster, and I also heard it from Dr. Shabazz Gill. And it's the same. It's like our farmers who need to feed their herd and their cattle. They're literally crossing the border to the other side of Punjab, and they are borrowing, food for their cattle, all the necessary things like hay and this and that, all the food. And the other side of Punjab who have these available, they are letting them take them, and they're like, yeah, don't worry, go ahead. And so when the other side, Punjab, the Indian Punjab, when they need something, then they will. And obviously because the security also, the guards that are on the border, they also can see the devastation, obviously they're not going to stop people from helping each other. That's the least they can do, right? So, as usual, we're all on our own. And the Punjabi podcaster, he made a very good point. And as he said that whenever anywhere else in India also hurts, the first people to offer aid, supply, help are the Punjabis. And he was right when he said that I'm sure the same case is in Pakistan. It is true in Pakistan. But the thing is that in Pakistan, thankfully, actually, all four provinces are very, very acutely sensitive in these matters. We do help each other. But right now, we're not complaining that other provinces are not helping us, because other provinces, two of them are drowning just like us, or actually three of them. We have KPK, and then we have, Kashmir, Gilgit, Baltistan, group them all. And then you have Sindh also that is following suit. And so, but Punjab's hit the most. Again, why Punjab's hit the most? Because the rivers, those three rivers that are crossing through Punjab, they're not settling down. The water is not going down. And so the floods are not going down. Obviously, if you have an 8 to 9 feet high water level, it will need time to get soaked up by the ground, by the soil, right? And if it keeps on raining, and if India keeps on shoving its extra floods into, that's not helping, is it? Even though we are also opening our floodgates and letting it go through, which obviously will go through Sindh, and then again, so Sindh is also getting flooded. So this, and as I said, the fact that it is man-made on both sides is actually what has pissed people off. Because as I said, this was man-made, and I'm not the only one. Many people are now getting more and more aware of the fact that this was definitely man-made because of the federal government's priorities, their agendas, their ulterior motives towards what they are trying to do with our agricultural land. Remember, our army. In our case, it's also the army. In India, you can't blame the army. You can just blame the government. But in our case, you have the army as well, as if your government wasn't enough. So it's not a happy day. Also, what's making it worse is, as I said, LESCO has started this new trend where there is one phase, and it's always this one phase. They've got a hold of this one phase of our homes, and it is wreaking havoc now. This is a new thing. I think they've just suddenly realized that they can do this, that this can also happen, and now they're making sure that they'll do it every single time, at every single opportunity available. And that is that they make the voltage and the current so unstable that it's literally flickering per second. In fact, per millisecond, it's flickering, and the wires are again arcing. You remember, arcing is when the wires make that loud buzzing sound, which means that there is either extremely low voltage or extremely unstable voltage. And in our case, it's usually both. It's extremely low and it's extremely unstable, which means it's constantly fluctuating per millisecond. So this is this new thing that they have found that they can do, and now they're doing it all the time. As in, today was the third time that they did this, and I had to complain to them, and then they thankfully just shut off the whole light. They shut off the power of this phase, and then they brought it back after 15-20 minutes stable. But what pissed me off even more was that despite the fact that I have constantly notified our management of our residential area that they should please follow up with LESCO pertaining to this issue, which is now becoming more and more frequent, and they should check their lines that are coming from the grid of this particular phase so that they can find out if the issue is maybe persistent because of our lines, or maybe it is 100% back-end, and that they should follow up with LESCO to ensure that this issue is fixed properly and permanently. And what do? First of all, the last 2-3 times they didn't even bother. And as we know, we have had a lot of blowing up of transformers in our society, in our residential area. The last time when I told them that make note of it, that for 2 nights in a row, there's been arcing and there's been an unstable, voltage and current situation in this particular phase again, and you should please follow up with LESCO and check your lines. And they didn't bother again. And the very next day in the morning, early morning, if you remember, I don't know if I mentioned that or not, or if I did a podcast about that or not, but the next day, early morning, the transformer blew. The transformer of my block blew. It was a loud bang. Okay? Is it too much to understand? I'm sure here even a layman has understood what I said. And yet, what do they do this time when today again I tell them that, look, this is getting more and more frequent. You need to follow up with LESCO, because I keep on complaining to LESCO. They keep on fixing the issue. But the fact that this issue is getting more and more frequent means that you need to go and follow up with LESCO and find out what the frack is going on. And also, please check your lines to make sure that there's nothing on this side, of the connection or the connectivity that could aggravate the situation. What do? They send the electricians. Oh, we need to check your voltage. That pissed me off so bad. And that is when the rain started, imagine. The electricians were also not in a very good mood, because I was pretty pissed off. And I was like, are the people in your office even educated? Like, do they know how to listen to an audio message? Which I deliberately sent an audio message so that there shouldn't be any confusion with regards to reading. And yet they're sending you to me, seriously? And the reason I got pissed off is, okay, the electricians themselves were also now like, because it's raining, and it was beginning to rain harder and harder and harder. And when it literally picked up speed, we were both like, okay, let's just, Khuda Hafiz, let's just go. I was like, Khuda Hafiz, he was like, Khuda Hafiz, because it was with mutual tacit understanding that, okay, it's beginning to rain cats and dogs. What are we here even sitting talking about? So, I closed the gate, they left. But imagine the reason I was angry is he just drenched his electricians, or the management, they just drenched their electricians in the rain. For what? For just a formality, so that they can say, oh, we sent our electricians. And you know what pisses me off even more now is that they did this when there was the water issue. Now everybody, the whole freaking residential area was complaining about, little to no water issues, and about having very low pressure and water issues. And what did they do to all of us? They kept on telling us, oh, it's in your house, it's in your house. And I got so pissed off. I'm like, tell me one thing. You keep on telling everybody it's in their homes, that the issues with their own plumbing or their own gutter or their own sewage. Tell me something. Can you hear the thunder? Yes. This is the I was going to say almighty thunder, and I was like, this could be shirk, But I mean, yeah, this is your grandiose thunder booming and clapping here, because it's raining. Yeah, it's going to rain for an hour at least, from what I understand. But then good news is that after tomorrow, because it's expected to rain tomorrow too, after tomorrow we're going to have a whole week of basically dry weather. Sunny and semi-cloudy, but mostly dry. And because remember I told you that from what I could guess of the weather, it was going to last till the 9th. And it seems, yes, it is lasting till the 9th. At least this spell, So, tomorrow's the 9th. Inshallah, tomorrow will be the last day. Again, we say inshallah because people are drowning. Thank you very much. Even if people have finally rescued each other out, their homes have drowned. Their lands have drowned. We need the water to recede. You understand? We need the water because nobody's helping them. And obviously, what can we do as people? We can only help them with giving them aid, and we can help them with giving them supplies, and we can help them with giving them shelter. But the water needs to recede for anybody to do anything in the long run, to help them find out what's going on in their homes, and then the electrical issues that will begin. Again, you remember, LESCO. Thank you very much. This behavior all around is what aggravates the situation, and what I keep on calling chains of consequences, and how people need to learn to change within in order to actually implement change as a whole, which people are never ready to do. This in itself should tell you what the situation is, because as I said, when everybody was complaining about low water pressure, they kept on telling everybody, oh, it's your own sewage, it's your own plumbing, it's your this, it's your that. Like, are you crazy? You know what the first thing we people do before complaining? We bring our plumbers. Yeah, we call the plumbers, we spend money. So you're basically making us waste money over and over again, because we keep on calling our plumbers, we keep on paying them, they keep on checking everything, and they keep on saying nothing's wrong here. In fact, our plumbers are the first people to tell us that, you know what, it's at the back end. It's your management. It's something going on at the back end. You should tell, and as if we don't know. And then what does the management do? They go and send plumbers to us again. Yes, that is why I was so pissed off when they sent the electricians today. Because the last time when there was a water issue, they sent the plumber to my place twice. Or was it thrice? And the third time, we were so pissed off, my dad was like, okay, you know what? Take a look. Just go. Just do whatever it is you want to do. And then the plumbers left scratching their heads because they're like, there's nothing. And we're like, okay, thank you very much. This is what we've been telling you, you mofos. And it was literally a back-end issue. And they knew it, and we knew it. And it is when we started smacking them Yes, that is a smack. That is a thunder smack. Actually, I think I mentioned this in one of my podcasts, that you can literally know what kind of thunder is going to take place by the color of the lightning. But this time there was no lightning. At least not on this side. Normally when I see the lightning flash, I know exactly what kind of thunder is about to come. Notice it. It's actually very, very interesting. Yeah. The color of the lightning can tell you the kind of thunder that you're going to get. Because it is, after all, electrons hopping around. So, as I was saying, when people started smacking them verbally as to like, what the hell do you take us for? The whole block, in fact, all 4 blocks are having water issues, and you're telling us that it's our own homes? Like, are you serious? You know what? They finally fixed the water issue. Now nobody's complaining. Everybody's getting water. And guess what? Full pressure. Full pressure. So what? Suddenly some jinns came and unclogged all our gutters? Is that what happened? Yeah, this behavior, this attitude of trying to tell the person who's telling you that there's something wrong, trying to tell them that, oh, no, actually, there might be something wrong with you, with your house, with your... Like, why is it so difficult to understand or to agree or to admit or to acknowledge to a fact that, okay, this is something that is going on? And I see it in almost everybody in my country, to be honest. I've seen it in my parents. I've seen it in my siblings. I've seen it in my, family. I've seen it in amongst people I know. I've seen it all. It's in their blood. I'm telling you, it's in the Desi people's blood, that they just have to disagree with you if you point something out, and then they have to try and say, oh, no, it's you, it's maybe your side, it's maybe your case, or maybe it's you who did this, or maybe it's like, seriously? At least LESCO doesn't tell us, no, it's your house. At least when you register a complaint in LESCO, at least they have that much of courtesy and professionalism and understanding to know, yeah, this is definitely a back-end issue. And they register your complaint and they fix the shit. And so why is it so difficult for your management to understand that they need to communicate with LESCO to find the underlying issue? After all, if it's a recurring issue, it means something's going on, right? If it is 100% at the back end, okay, we'll know it's 100% LESCO's problem and their fault. But if you find out that, okay, this issue is recurring because there might be something along the lines that are coming, there might be a damaged line, there might be something, anything that is, aggravating the situation. Why is it too much to understand, that you need to do a follow-up? What is so difficult about understanding, can you please do a follow-up? Can you follow up with LESCO on this issue? Can you please communicate with LESCO on this issue? Like, what is so difficult to understand here? I don't know. That you decided to send electricians to my home to check my home's voltage. Like, are you serious? The issue was fixed. By who? LESCO. Yeah. So there we are. Normally I love storms, by the way. Side note, I guess. Yeah, there are so many things people don't know about me, by the way. I think the only people that will know anything about me are people who listen to my podcast. Yeah, because remember, I don't talk to people. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't like talking to people, as you can see. So, yeah. Yeah, I actually love storms. And the really stormy storms, Not Not this. This is just heavy rains and thunder and all, but actual windy storms. I used to love them. Well, now I don't like anything anyway. To me, I think I've reached that part where I think I need to wind my life up and leave. I've reached that part a long time ago, actually, to be honest. But it's really time to go. You know it's time to go when there's literally nothing here left for you, you know. When you're living like a ghost and everything's passing you by and you're like this observer on the side, just looking at everything, you know. And yeah, yeah. It's been like this for a while. For a long time, actually. For more than a decade. And I've reached this conclusion that now, because nothing can be done, there is no re-entry. It's time to exit stage left. Unfortunately, we don't have a choice there too. God seems to always like to give that illusion to us that we have a choice. Actually, we have no choice. Not in things that matter. So yeah, this is why now, for me at least, I don't enjoy anything. But here in general, this is not about me. Today, these rains, which I saw that, it nobody was happy, seriously. Normally, that. Generally when it starts raining and the heavier it gets, you see people's grins getting wider and wider and wider. Yeah, we literally end up having a Cheshire smile on our faces when it rains, no matter what the situation, no matter what the condition. Today, there was no grin on my face. Guess what? There was no grin on the electrician's face. If anything, we were both just dying to leave the minute the rain got heavier. Literally, we both just nodded to each other with tacit understanding as soon as the rain began to get ballistic, and we're like, bye-bye. Yeah, no smiles anywhere, And then after about 10-15 minutes, I was thinking, and so I've left my tea to grow cold as I'm talking here to you people, all my friends, invisible friends. I'm thinking, heck, right now, this is not me, this is everybody. This right now is what everybody's feeling when the rain comes down now. It's like, okay. Because we can't say anything else, can we now? And yesterday was supposed to be the blood moon, by the way. Yeah, the blood moon that was supposed to be fully visible in South Asia, in Pakistan, by about 10:30. To be honest, I didn't see anything. And actually, even the previous years, I have somehow or the other managed to see almost every eclipse that occurred for some awkward reason. Awkward in the sense as in, it just became something that happened every single time that there was an eclipse and I would go out and see it. Or I would see it through, through my window or something. But this time, I didn't see it. And as you know, in Islam, there is this thing that you need to pray whenever there's an eclipse. It's not seen as a curse, by the way, please. People would begin with their superstitions and everything. In Islam, there is no superstition with regards to the eclipses, and the Prophet made that very clear, peace be upon him. It has nothing to do with people dying or people living or curses or anything. It is a phenomena that occurs. But this phenomena is basically God reminding you once again of his existence, which he said in the Quran, everything is orbiting in its own orbit and everything is traveling in its own sphere, and the sun and the moon and how the earth and how they can, at times when I want I can make them meet, and at times when I want they can stay on opposite sides, and it's like it's this whole reminder basically of, look, this is what I can do, as if we needed any reminder. The fact that God isn't doing what he's supposed to do, that is a big acute reminder on its own, people would say. Like the innocent people flooded, whereas the people who should have been smacked with the thunder, killed by lightning strikes, and then flooded, they are all safe and sound and happy and making merry. And we know who all those are. So, yeah. We already know that you exist. Thank you very much. The flood was more than enough to remind us of that. You didn't need to add the lunar eclipse to it. But okay, it's your world, it's your show. You're the scriptwriter, you're the producer and the director. Go ahead. At our expense. Well, this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.